Hi everyone, this is Mindy and welcome back. I'm excited to be participating in the Altenew September 2023 Marvelous Monthly Series Video Hop. We have lots of prizes to give away, so be sure to check the video description down below on how you can enter to win these prizes. Now, I have 3 cards of inspiration to share with you, 2 of which here are going to be using the Craft Your Life kit. The card I'm going to create for you is using this beautiful Wildflowers Bouquet set. So here is a look at that Wildflowers Bouquet. This is the dynamic duo. So there's a stencil, a coordinating die, and then a mini stamp set. Now this is a closer look at the Craft Your Life kit. This is Sunshine Flowers. You get an embossing folder, you get this large 6x8 stamp set with these beautiful flowers and those sentiments. There's also a coordinating die for those flowers and a coordinating die for big hugs, but you can also die cut out Hello Friend, and there's a shadow die for that as well. And then we also have a coordinating stencil. Now, I'm just going to be creating with the wildflowers today, and this one, I do not have a stamp set for the outline. So what I did is I took the die and I'm die cutting it out of Hammermill cardstock. Now, I did it a couple times just in case I screwed up. I have one ready. And then once I pulled the die away, everything kind of stayed in place. So I'm going to leave it that way because I think it's going to be easier. Now, one of the best things for this is grabbing some sort of sticky mat. I am using the mat out of the Altenew stamp wheel, and I'm just going to firmly press that down so it's holding both my die cut and my negative piece in place. And then I can start working on my ink blending. So there isn't going to be a lot of stencil to attach to that sticky mat, but just enough so that it stays in place for me. I started out with the first set of leaves, and I believe I'm using olive ink, which is a beautiful kind of mossy color. And I'm using this mini ink blending tool to apply my ink, even though I'm still going to bring in Post-it notes to mask off other areas. I tend to get a little carried away with ink blending, so even if it's running off of the die cut and it's not going to show, I still use my Post-it notes. Now I'm just going to rotate to the next area of the stencil, and these are all labeled on the stencil as well. It's hard to see on camera, but you can tell in person. And with the leaves, I don't think it really much matters, but I do like to follow that order just in case. Now my second set of leaves, I am using the Let Us Celebrate ink, which is a beautiful, like true green. So then I can peel away the stencil. I'm going to shift it a little bit and come in with the last layers. And this is really easy to line up since I have everything kind of stuck down in place on the mat. And then the last green that I'm going to use is Forest, I think it's called Forest Fern. It is a really nice kind of dark hunter green. So really, your greens don't even have to match, just choosing 3 different greens, or you could even just go light-handed versus heavy-handed to get different shades out of the same color of green. Now for the next stencil, it's going to give us different layers for the flowers. And this is really nice on the stencil because it has each flower kind of labeled individually. I don't remember the letters exactly, but it's like A1, B1, C1, something along those lines. So it can show you can either do them all in one color, but of course, wildflowers are never just all in one color. So I started out with, I think it was called Grateful for You. I'm using a lot of the inks out of the Amy Tangerine line, except for this flower. I'm pretty sure I was using Coral Berry because Coral Berry is one of my all-time favorite colors out of the Altenew line. The next flower, I'm going to do kind of a teal color, and I think this one was called Easy Breezy. Like I said, a lot of them are out of the Amy Tangerine line because they don't necessarily layer up together. They're just really nice kind of basic colors to have in your collection. I moved my stencil so I could add in the last layers of these flowers, or I moved my Post-it notes, I should say, and added in the last layer for these flowers. Then I came in with my blending brush that I used for the red and added that just a little bit towards the top of those yellow flowers. Now you can see as we move over to the other area of the stencil, it's going to give us the next layer for each of these flowers. So what I'm going to do is just come back in pretty much with the same colors that I had used, except this time I'm going to go just a little bit heavier handed at it. Once again, masking off some areas so I don't get too carried away. On the blue one, I did bring in a little bit of purple from the blending brush that I used with the purple ink. I don't tend to clean off these mini blending brushes, so I always have a little bit of leftover ink on them. And then we have one last little area here off on the side for these two smaller flowers over on that right-hand side, which I did to match the top one. So once again, those are in purple. Now here is a sleeper color for you. This one, I have never used this color for the centers, and this is Toasted Mauve. I don't know what made me grab it, but it is like the perfect centers for flowers. Now my ink blending is complete on this flower set. I'm going to go ahead and peel up the negative, and then I will come in with either a craft knife or a spoon or something to help me kind of peel up that wildflower from the sticky mat. Now there is a small stamp set that is included with this or that matches this, and it has some details on there that you can add to like the stems of the purple flowers or to that red flower. There are some just smaller details that you could stamp on there. I am opting to not stamp those, and I'm going to leave it just as is. Now I had gone ahead, I have 2 more pieces that I cut from that coordinating die. Then I am going to layer up together off screen to create dimension. But for my background, I'm going to keep it super simple. I am taking some black ink and I'm adding splatters of black. Now I know that seems pretty drastic, but I didn't really want to add much more to the background, except I love my splatters. I'm also going to bring in some gold perfect pearls just to give that a little bit shine. Now I'm going to attach my bouquet to my splattered background. I had also gone ahead and die cut out the coordinating wildflower bouquet from some light gray cardstock, and I had offset it to almost give it like a shadow look behind it. I applied liquid glue to the back of that, and I'm attaching it over my splattered background. So even though those splatters maybe kind of seemed a little bit overwhelming or too much, once you put this large bouquet on there, it's just the right amount of splatter. Now the sentiment I had gone ahead and stamped using the Obsidian ink from Altenew. I die cut it out with the coordinating die, layered that together a couple times once again for the dimension, and then adding that towards the bottom of my bouquet so I can make sure to keep all those beautiful flowers front and center. I could have added some embellishments, but I really like the simplicity of that design. Now here are 2 cards I created with the sunshine flowers. Now this one I kind of played around with some ink blending using, I believe it was Coral Berry, and then I have the sets listed down below in the video description. I don't remember the names offhand now, but I do have them linked down below. So if you're interested in the colors I used for this, then you can check those out there. Once again, I added black splatters to those backgrounds, just something a little different. I will also have my blog listed down below, so if you want to check out some pictures and save those for future reference, you can do that as well. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again real soon.